everyone. So I'm Tiffany from the Cinematic Reviewer, and this, if you want to introduce yourself. I'm so sorry. I don't think it's coming through your audio. Yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm
I
gonna
can hear
leave
you
and come
now.
back. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know why that happened. I literally did not do anything from when my audio kicked off to when I came back on. All right. So yeah, I am Robin from the book Wormhole.
Yeah, so today we are celebrating 5 years on YouTube. So both me and Robin have been on YouTube for 5 years. So, any sort of thing you want to share, I had both of us have a couple questions. That way we can kind of like have some sort of thing to talk about, to be like, hey, yeah, so this is what we learned. These are some fun things from YouTube. If you'd like to go first.
My first talking point I thought would be cool is if we both talked about how we got in like started and involved on YouTube in the first place. I don't know. Do you want to answer first, or do you need a moment to think?
Okay. Could you repeat the question?
How did you get started on YouTube, or like what drew you to YouTube in the first
Yeah,
place? Yeah.
yeah. So I definitely have to go, back to my roots with BookTube. Yeah, so basically I had watched Christine Riccio, Ex Teen May,
Mhm.
for the longest time. And I don't know, it was just like, every time I watched her, it was very fun. And it just seemed like YouTube was the coolest thing. And it's like, yeah, I could do that. And, it just made sense with books. And then, of course, eventually it made way more sense to make videos about movies, which is very much my first love, maybe my only love, but, I don't know, like I know that sometimes like some booktube Q&A and reading reflections, I talked about it. And I was actually looking back on those to be like, yeah, like that could be something. But I don't know, like I definitely think as a viewer compared to being a creator, there's such a different view of things. Like as a viewer, I really thought, oh yeah, this is easy. There's nothing to it. Like you make this stuff, people come to you, and then it's gonna be a big awesome deal. And like really being a creator, it's like, wait a second, this is, I don't know. But go ahead if you want to share yours. I don't know why your audio keeps going out. I'm still like, what is happening?
Mic is either on my computer because this is like brand new. So I'm still getting used to it. Uh, am I back though?
Yeah, you are back.
Maybe it's just my internet connection. Sorry.
I don't know. It's weird because, like, there's nothing wrong with the visual. I don't know why the
Yeah,
audio itself was having such a
I'm
problem.
pretty close to the Wi-Fi box too, so I don't know, but yeah, let me know, yeah, if I kick off again. But yeah, so oh my gosh. Yeah, I thought of new things to say too while you were answering yours. Cause yeah, your point about like, oh, YouTube was so cool. Like I've always kind of been enamored too with like YouTube. From like I think like when I was like 11, not quite when YouTube first got started, but kind of when like, YouTube was having like its viral videos like Charlie bit my finger and like stuff like that. And it
Yeah,
was just like, oh wow, like this is just such like creator friendly. Anyone can upload onto it. Like that had so much appeal to me. So yeah, I kind of was always interested in YouTube. I was always making videos from like childhood onwards, just having fun making videos, but I never really took YouTube seriously because obviously once you start doing it, like you realize it's actually a lot of work. So it wasn't until March of 2020 when we were in shutdown that I was like actually motivated to start YouTube. And it's funny because I didn't actually know booktube was a thing before I made my booktube channel, even though I did explicitly make my channel to be a booktube channel. I was like super into reading, just kind of getting back into reading again after, you know, years of school kind of ruined my love of reading. And I just wanted the opportunity to talk about books. And I was like, yeah, like YouTube is the place I want to do that. And then like after I uploaded my first video, then like I found out like, oh no, this is a thing. Like this is a huge thing. But even then, like I knew that like, oh, I couldn't be the only one who thought of the idea to like go on YouTube and talk about books. I don't think I realized, yeah, how big of a part of YouTube it actually made up. So yeah, there is a lot I was surprised with after that. Um I think I think that's all I have to say on how I got started
Yeah.
as a booktuber.
Yeah, totally. So I see. If you'd like to go on for the question of what I've learned, what do you think you've learned from YouTube?
Such a perfect segue from like what I was just saying. Um Gosh, yeah, I feel like there's so much more I have to learn too about YouTube, but I have um learned a lot about like the process of making videos. You know, before I was a lot of like I would just do like funny improv videos with my friends and then we edit them. But actually like sitting down and like talking about books, like I found that if I did just sit down and improv it, I would end up with like 2 hour long raw footage, mostly of me just like staring off into space trying to think of what I'm saying, or like constantly talking and restarting of like trying to phrase what I want to say um in the best way. So it made like editing such a pain in the butt, because it was literally like I'd have to like Frankenstein stitch like sentences together that way. So I learned like the importance of like scripting, at least for me. I think other YouTubers you know, who might be better at public speaking might not need to, but for me, like that's something I learned I needed to do. Yeah, just learned a lot about editing in general. um and yeah, like learning about the book community, the booktube community too, is a trip for sure. It was like both really exciting because it's like, oh wow, so many people also care about books. That is so cool in the modern age where like we have all these different forms of entertainment competing against each other. So it is really exciting to see so many people do genuinely enjoy reading. I think the flip side of that was a little bit disappointing, is like booktube tends to talk about the same books over and over again, and those books are typically not ones that I really like, so that has been kind of discouraging to learn. I'm mainly a science fiction reader. I do read outside of that, but I definitely think booktube lacks a lot.
Yeah. I just realized that I still have it at as the book skeptic. I can't believe I did that. Shoot. I don't know if I can change it now. Shoot.
You
Anyway,
might have to, yeah, feel like you might have to like leave and come back to change
yeah.
it, but also like we're on your channel, so I hope people would understand like
Yeah, I
that
know.
it's
It's
for
just
you.
weird because it's like yeah. I don't know, like wait, edit layout. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not gonna do anything. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, no one's on, so it's kind of
I
just
know,
for
but
us.
people who watch later or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I'm so sorry for interrupting you. I just,
no, I think I was, just about finished, saying that BookTube is not as science fiction friendly as I would like it to be.
yeah,
Oh, did you change the color?
yeah,
I
yeah. I
love
was in
that.
this brand color. I'm like, fun, pink. Let's go.
I love it. It's like Barbie pink. I love that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and yeah, BookTube kind of seems stuck in its trends too, which has been a frustrating thing to learn.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Oh, ooh, I was, I was hoping it would do something. Yay! I can actually pick a background. I thought that would be
Oh,
kind
fun.
of a little bit more exciting.
I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, that
Yeah.
looks fun. It's called Tropical Summer. I think that's very cool. I'm gonna try what you were saying, so I'll be back in like just a second. I don't think it'll end the live. I think it'll be fine.
Think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So I'm gonna leave for just a second. I'll be back.
Gotcha. This is showing that all about me.
Okay. All right. Now it's fixed. Hooray. Um. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I just got so distracted by everything. So if you want to quickly just reiterate like a little sample of what you were saying, like I didn't want to dismiss any of what you were saying.
Yeah, like learning about like how to edit, how to best make videos that works for me, and then like the positives of like getting familiar with booktube, and then the negatives too of kind of the disappointing aspects too of it
Yes. Yeah.
was
That's something I put down for what I learned. That's for sure. Um.
awesome. Yeah, would you like to talk about what you learned?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I definitely wanted, like, I just feel like it would be cool, exciting. Like, I just got super invigorated, excited
Mhm.
by doing like a 5 year talking about it. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's really nice to be able to celebrate and talk about it. And so, yeah, like, I have many a list of some things I wanted to talk about, but for what I learned, here's what I jotted down. And something you said definitely has me wanting to add another thing too. So, what I learned, kind of well, I guess we haven't talked about it yet, but YouTube is not a get successful quick situation, like instead of a scheme situation. But so obviously, I was 19 when I created my first account. So I would say my 19-year-old self was a bit naive, thinking it would be easy and not take many years to do well. Like it definitely has been something where it's like, oh, I see. But I will say the difference between a book channel, which I think everyone understands that books, specifically books, sorry, videos about books, there is more less of an audience compared to movies and videos about movies. So seeing the difference, I will say I do think more book people are willing to subscribe faster than people who go to movie videos in my experience. But I will say it's just easier. Like I the most I ever got in terms of views on one of the channels was like 5,000 something. I am at 34,500 something views on this channel. Like it's definitely been easier to do. And I'm not saying easier like it actually is easier. Like you do have to work hard to make it happen, but there's just that audience. There is more of a broader audience, which is definitely something that maybe if I had done a little bit of research on YouTube, I would have figured that out. But I will say that is something that my plan had been, because I like books and movies. I was going to have that first channel, Masquerade Chick, be about both. And it just didn't end up working out. Plus, it was 2020. movies weren't really coming out. So, it wouldn't have made that much sense. Oh no, not your audio again. I can't hear you.
See if there's mic.
I can hear you now, partially.
Oh, okay. I turned off echo cancellation, so maybe that's what was
Maybe. Yeah.
like. Okay, so hopefully that solved it. But yeah, piggybacking off of the first thing you said, anyone who wants to join YouTube to make money, I like always kind of like I don't want to be like raining on someone's parade,
Yeah.
but I often will hear other people like say like, oh, I want to join YouTube specifically because I want to make extra money off of it. It is so hard to
Yeah.
actually make money from YouTube. So like do not join YouTube with the goal of trying to make money is kind of my advice. Obviously there's exceptions, but I feel like with the way YouTube is now, you have to be consistently uploading, and like people who do make money, they have people behind the scenes that they pay to edit their videos. Some have script writers. Like there's like a whole team behind most people who actually do make money on YouTube. It's really changed in that aspect that like it's not terribly practical to like back in the day, I feel like if you had one really popular video, you would make some sense off of it. That's not the way it is anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was very excited. So I have this video on Knight Rider. It's a very short video, 27 seconds. Very successful though. It now has 20,400 views, and it's definitely doing well, which is very exciting. But of course, I'm not making any money off of it. But of
Yeah.
course, it has ads on it, so YouTube's making money off of my stuff. Like it
Yeah.
definitely is frustrating, and they have said it. Like obviously, before Google acquired YouTube, things were very different. Obviously, there weren't ads, people weren't making money, but at least you could do whatever you wanted. Like
Yeah.
there's rules, restrictions, whatever. Most of the time, I kind of dismiss that because it's like, hey, if I'm not making any money, let me say what I want to say. But I do understand why there are the YouTube creators, especially the big ones, that are like, yeah, I kind of have to censor myself. I can't say what I want to say. But also, they have said that YouTube has changed things, definitely in terms of how much, like obviously the roadblocks to monetization has been, much higher, so it's much harder. And I thought it was very interesting to see. I can't remember the statistic, but they were saying to get to whatever amount of views for a single video, only let's say 5-10% of any creator has that happen. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that like it really is an achievement to get to where I am for that part. But it definitely is. It's like, and I know what they say, like at this point there's so many people who want to have a piece of the pie for YouTube. So now it's more of a very oversaturated, and they already say the number of videos that upload every single second of every single day, like it's so many and it's hard to compete. I mean, it's good that they've tried to do it now with like you get to 500 subscribers, 3,000 watch time hours. At least that is more of a middle ground. You could do memberships and, you know, sell like shirts and stuff. Like I can't remember the other thing. Like I think it's like badges or something. That's the other thing. But like I don't know. It's in regards to what we're talking about for to be successful. It's very tricky, very hard. Like I'm just glad because I was saying this to my family recently, especially with the fact that I'm more reflecting on the past 5 years. One thing that I will say I'm very proud of myself for, because of what I expected from YouTube and not getting that at all. I'm just glad I didn't quit, you know? Like, it really could have been something that it's like, yeah, that's cool. It didn't work out for me. Let me do whatever. And I'm not going to try and say that it's been easy at all. I would say it's definitely been very tricky. And to say that, like, oh, it's only tricky for big creators is not the case at all. And I mean, in just uploading, making videos happen, not for like the monetary aspect, comments, viewers, whatever, you know. I still don't get why yeah, it's like the audio, it's like sometimes it lets you, sometimes it doesn't. Can't hear. I I kind of got part of you there.
I don't see anything else
Yeah.
in settings I can change. I really thought that was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I can hear you right now, so hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, that's frustrating for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, I think you make a really good point about like not quitting. And yeah, I feel like, like I said, the thing about like don't join YouTube with the expectation you're gonna make money, but instead it's like, well, do YouTube because like there's personal enjoyment to it, you like to create and share your stuff. So yeah, I think it's important to actually enjoy what you do, and then the perk of being small and not like making money is you can say what you want more. So
Yeah.
for sure
No,
that's
exactly.
huge.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm sure also, you're more not inviting because I definitely don't appreciate when people say that oh, you said this and you have this big audience, therefore you're inviting all these horrible comments. It's like, no,
Yeah.
people are being terrible and that sucks, which leads me into what I'm about to say. So one of the other things that I've definitely learned is you can't let low views on a video or hate comments get to you. I have definitely experienced this. I think it comes from school. And I'm not saying school did it to me, just for my personal dealing. I don't know, what kind of student you were in school, but I was definitely the perfectionistic type. And I cared so much about just trying to think about it. Um I cared so much about what the teachers thought, and like you didn't want to get laughed at in class. Like there's something about the performance, like, grades, whatever. And obviously that's not really something that YouTube has, but really what they do have is how many likes do you have? How many dislikes do you have? The comments. Are people subscribing? Like that's really our school. Like that's what we get for what I'm talking about, where it's like, like the merit and the reward and everything. And it's definitely been hard. I would definitely say that. Like, I've definitely deleted hate comments, and I'm not saying I get so many. Like, I'm still a little channel, but I've definitely got it. Like, I think my first legit hate comment was on that Wednesday review back in 2022. Like, I really liked that show, but I had this horrible comment, so it just sucks. It's like, what is people's problem? And yeah, I just got this comment the like a couple weeks ago. I think it was when I was reviewing Companion, and I immediately got rid of it. And I didn't let it get to me that much, but it's like the audacity, like what? But basically, this jerk was being like, oh well, your first video, your oldest video got like 40 views or 50 views, whatever, and you're still going. Why try when you can't? I know it was like, oh my gosh, like, but that sort of stuff, like, I've definitely let. I still can't hear you. No. Okay. Okay. But basically, uh, yeah, I've definitely gotten down in the dumps before about um you know, when a video doesn't perform well, I will say I've been pretty down in the dumps this year. And the reason I say that for the performance of my channel, so I'm not trying to say, like, I'm very happy that the Knight Rider short, it is still getting consistent views. And of the past number of months, the year, whatever, it stays up as being the most viewed, even with any new uploads, which is exciting. But since December 31st last year, so the past, 2 or so months, it's been super low views. Almost no one's coming to the channel. It's just a little hard, because it's like you get like invigorated. It's almost like, okay, I'm more thinking of The Office with this reference versus Tinkerbell herself, but that thing where they say, you believe in her, and then she's able to fly, and she's not gonna die. Like, it's almost like that, which I understand, and obviously, yes, we want connection, community, and good props. Like, we want to be appreciated, but at the same time, it's like you can't let it get down to like thinking about your own self-worth based on this, like that, so that's definitely something I've had to learn, and I think I'm still learning. But so that's my piece on that part. I still can't hear you. Okay, there's I know, it's so frustrating. Okay.
I was trying to try something and then I accidentally messed everything up. So I had to leave and come back.
You can't add her. She has to connect the camera and mic. That's what it was saying. But
I was like trying to check my mic permissions, and I guess I selected no accidentally.
Yeah.
I don't know. So hopefully that reset it somehow. But yeah, on the topic of likes and comments, it is extremely discouraging when you put so much time into making these videos and then like it barely gets any likes or comments. I'm always like miffed by the dislikes because I'm just like, well, what? Like, why did you like thumbs down that? Like, what did I do? Obviously, like you can't obsess over it because then it starts feeling like a self-worth thing. But it is kind of hard to turn off sometimes because I always like to describe it as like you go to a party and you bake a cake and you bring this cake to the party and no one eats the cake. And then you're like, what? Like, of course, like, you might have had fun making the cake, but it was still work and you brought it to share with people and no one partook in it. That's what it kind of feels like when you don't get likes or you get dislikes. As far as hater comments go, I've gotten such random ones that like I don't even think like I they're probably real people, but it does kind of seem like they're just like scrolling through YouTube, clicking on videos and like putting random stuff in the comments. And even that one really mean one you got, like it still just sounds like some miserable person with too much time on their hands, kind of like came out of the woods and like made that mean comment. Like, I think it says a lot more about them than it does about you, to be honest.
100%. No, it absolutely is. It's just one of those of like, what in the world? And I will say one of the things I hate most about some comments, whether it be intentionally mean or otherwise. Sometimes it could be perfectly neutral, but it just annoys me sometimes when comments have nothing to do with the video. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not what we're here for. And of course, we also have the, I know sometimes it's bots, but in general, some people like to be trolls. And so they'll just say the same comment. And so you scroll through comments. I'm not saying for my channel, I don't have even close to enough that it would scroll through, okay? But I'm saying in general, when we see comments, and it's always like, you know, the most stupid stuff, and it's just the same thing over and over. It's like, what's the point in replicating the comment? Like, it's just stupid. But, you know, in regards to the point I was just making there, like, yeah, like that sort of stuff, you can't let it get to you, because besides the fact that it's going to happen regardless, by letting yourself get down, like, it's just like any sort of form of rejection. You know, you got to keep going. As I would quote that Meet the Robinsons movie, keep moving forward. You know, you got to keep going. Um, Another thing I've learned that I wrote down is, I would say, definitely the importance of upload time. Like, that doesn't mean, and even when I look up certain things, like I still have this the ultimate guide to the best times for YouTube. Like, I still always have that up available anytime I'm about to upload. But I would say, like, it's pretty accurate. And even that itself does not say, it does put the disclaimer. That doesn't mean if you upload and it doesn't do well for the first couple days, that doesn't mean that it can't do well, but it can help when you upload at a good time. Like, definitely more the afternoon, kind of around the time that we're making this video, you know, like the 2 to 3 o'clock times they say are really good. And definitely sometimes it can be different for the weekends. Sometimes, like, in the morning can be good. Sorry, I meant 2-3 p.m. my time. I wasn't. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's like weird. I think I figured something out, and I could be wrong. It's almost like if you're talking the first without me saying anything, you're able to have your voice. And then if you stop talking and I start talking, that's when you try to talk and the audio goes away. So I don't really understand what's going on there. I don't know. Would you be able? Do you have your phone on you? Maybe we could have it where it could connect, and I can add another profile for you. That way, it's at least in the stream, and we can have your audio. I don't know. It was just an idea, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, hello. Very happy to have a viewer here. So basically, we're just talking about, you know, things we've learned on YouTube. You know, so we've kind of talked about, you know, YouTube is not a get successful quick situation. You can't let low views on a video or hate comments get to you. And we were just talking about the importance of upload time. Of course, that's when they leave. Oh well.
Use it.
I can't hear you. It's still not working. I don't know. It's so weird. It's like trying to capture some audio for you, but
To go into.
part of it came through. Part of the audio. So I had this one problem. I was trying to do this Zoom call with my friend, and my audio wasn't coming through, and I had my mic, like, sorry, not my mic, but my speakers attached to the computer. So I unplugged that, and then he was able to hear me. I don't know if there's anything. No, all right. I was just trying to think of something, but so weird. This is so weird. Would you be able? Maybe we can. I don't know. It's just weird. Let me see. I don't know if this will do anything. It says automatically adjust mic volume. I'm just gonna remove that on the off chance that it does anything on my end. So go ahead, try to speak. No. Ugh. I thought maybe you could do something. Um, it's okay if you don't want to switch over, but maybe you could try the phone instead. And yeah, just not the
I
computer
get
because I
it
don't
on
know
the.
what's not
I
working.
can't get it on my phone.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
did try
yeah,
that.
but I can now hear you. So yay.
Weird. I wish I knew why it was happening.
Yeah, my dad is really good with tech. I'm sure he'd be able to troubleshoot, but I don't know if he'd have to actually see it. And of course, you're we're coast to coast different, so that's not
Yeah.
good. But like, yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to stay on with your audio. But if you'd like to share any moments that you think are your best moments or any favorite moments.
I think my favorite part of my booktube journey is definitely when I got to the point where authors were sending me their books to review. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming because I will literally get unsolicited books quite often. And so I don't accept every book authors send me, but the ones that I do, I'm always, really passionate about. And it's always exciting to kind of help these indie authors connect with an audience. Like that has been so rewarding. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite part.
Yeah. No, that's great. Um yeah, so a few that I would definitely want to share. Um I really like that I basically have a whole time capsule. I could see myself from
Yeah.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and now 24. Like, I think it's just really cool to see that. And yeah, like I can see the changes and think back on my past experiences of the time of each upload. Like, there are definitely times, definitely, and like some of the ones for like 2020 that I definitely think about. Certainly the ones in the early years, in the early times right before COVID really hit, was kind of like, yeah, I had no idea what was going to happen, but also what a bummer. But I just think it's so cool to see that because I wouldn't say I take that many pictures of myself. Sometimes I do, if anything. I think you've seen the jokes of the if you have a cat, your camera roll is all of your cat. Like it's kind of like that, but it's still, just all this is very cool. And one of the best moments I would say for myself is the first successful upload. It was just so cool to see the views. They were just staying up. They were just going, 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 which was super exciting. So that was the funny Bambi short. This is actually something I had posted. Well, I created it, is what I meant, not posted it. I created it for this creative writing final in school back in 2017. And for some reason, the audio for this, it wasn't StreamYard, but it was some other sort of network we had to use. Screencastify is what it's called. And so I had downloaded every single file I had created with the audio that I needed, and the only one that worked was that. So that's the one I used, and it just worked out that I'm like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and post this. So what happened, I think it's kind of a cool, interesting story about the YouTube algorithm, because it's the exact same video, okay? I posted it, and I know I am a much smaller channel on this channel, and in general, it's not a movie channel. It was a book channel, but I did post the Funny Bambi short. Got so few views. It got some. If anything, I was the one who was watching it more, you know? But it just wasn't one of those kind of videos. And then in my super early times of uploading anything, it was, yeah, I created this account, this channel on October 6th. First upload was October 9th. And so then in the early times of November of that same year in 2022 is when I posted the Funny Bambi short. And yeah, it just skyrocketed. It did great. I feel like it did like 200 something views in like the first 24 hours. I'd have to check. But like it's sitting at a nice 3.3 thousand, you know? Like it's just really cool to see that. And then definitely same thing happened for the Knight Rider short, and when I did this Steven Spielberg video, like it's always so cool to see that. And that's why sometimes it can be a little hard. You almost get used to it and you get excited, and then things change and it's like, no, it was so good, what was happening? But that was definitely one of those were definitely great moments. And definitely another thing I definitely want to include, of course, is live shows. You know, since we started that in 2021, like it's been very cool. And you know, it's definitely good to talk to other creators, and it's just been very fun. And of course, you know, when we had Tiffany on, she definitely had a good chunk of people, so it was kind of cool to have like an actual communication and back and forth with people in the comments. You know, it's definitely harder for us, but hey, maybe we'll get there someday. I don't know. But like that sort of stuff is very exciting. Yeah. So
Make it less of a solitary creation thing, which is kind of nice, because otherwise, yeah, YouTube is a lot of you just do your thing on your own and you put it out. Maybe people like it, maybe they don't. But with live shows, it is cool to like connect with creators, connect with the audience. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
yeah. And I do know, because some people just talk about metrics, you know?
Mhm.
And so sometimes they're like, well, if you want to get big, you got to do live shows, because live shows you can go very long and people will watch. And it's like, if they watch, let's be real, if they watch, and like that's kind of the thing. But it's like it's just cool to, in general, hang out. Also, like this is our own version of Zoom, because obviously we're not anywhere near each other. I mean, maybe one day we'll be able to meet. I'm not sure, but you get what I mean. But like, it's just cool to chat, hang out, that sort of thing. But it can be helpful for a channel. And again, I don't know if this will perform at all, but it's still exciting to do. Like it sometimes I let it get to me, but like I really just gotta be like, yeah, I could just let it be for me. Like it can be fun. I do think, in regards to what I was talking about with the low views and hate comments, the thing for the low views, unfortunately, even when I know I worked super hard on a video and it is a good video and it's great and all that sort of thing, the number of times that anytime I look at my catalog, I kind of almost view, I prioritize a video that did well versus a video that didn't. It's like, no, every single creation is yours, and they're just as valuable as the other. Like it's not, like I just sometimes got to get out of my head. Um, but kind of in regards to what I was talking about for having like a time capsule, I think it's interesting. And you tell me, if you want to share for yourself for this part I'm about to say, I think it's really cool to see the passage of time. For me, it's been different filming locations because I've now lived in 3 different houses in this span of 5 years. And of course, for you, at least 2, right? Because you in New York and now in California. And then definitely haircuts. Haircuts really show the passage of time. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I thought it was gonna connect. Ah, so frustrating.
Um,
Oh, almost.
oh
Almost.
my
It was
God,
no,
why?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
God, okay. I don't know why. Maybe I need to prop this up. Yeah, definitely haircuts have been a lot for me. I also like did not know that you moved house a few times because I feel like you always have a purple room.
That's so funny you say that. I can actually show you. Okay. So let me just go to my old stuff for just a second. Okay. Hold on. Let's go back to 2020. Um, okay, so here's just like a picture, but as you can see, it's very blue. Yeah, so that was my first place.
Okay.
And then but I do understand what you mean. And then in 2021 we never painted, the house we stayed at, we never painted. Um where's it? Okay, so here's me with my cat. And so you can see it's just like one of those tan, I don't know, would you call it a tan color? I'm not sure. But like, seeing that the passage of time, it's just kind of crazy. But like do you ever look back on your old videos at all? Like do you kind of think about what you were going through, what things you were doing at that time if you ever look back at some videos?
But you're totally right. It is a good time capsule of changes and even just like the different backgrounds and like how I would set up, to film each time has definitely changed throughout the years. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I feel like I need to now look back and kind of um look at things chronologically and yeah, see what it brings back.
Yeah. I just think it's, really interesting to see it. I will say, because I'm just someone who just looks back on stuff. And I'm not saying everything. There are things that I'm like, oh, I'm happy to be free of it. I'm happy I never have to deal with it again, like school, high school in particular. I'm glad I'm not in that time anymore. But at the same time, some things where it's like things are set, scheduled, whatever. You're not in this super, you have to be responsible for this, responsible for that. You're not getting any slack, like you actually have to be an adult, which is like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a kid. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Um, in regards to that, I'm trying to think of. Oh, okay. So here's what happened. So I think back on the past a lot of the time, and I just get super sad because a lot of the time, and I would say like right now, I wouldn't say I'm in a great place, a good place, and I'm not saying like I'm still able to do certain fun events. Like I don't know if you saw my post on Instagram, but I just did beach day with some book club friends, so that was really fun. Like it's just cool to be able to do that because I've never actually gotten to do a beach day with people other than my parents, my family. So like that was
Awesome.
really cool to do. Like there are definitely very cool events to do. Like we just went to the Cheesecake Factory for one of our book club friends' birthdays. That was really fun. Like I'm able to still do these fun events. But sometimes it could just be hard about like some things that are harder now than it was, in the past, that sort of thing. So when I was looking back, because I did rewatch my first upload, my booktube newbie tag on my first channel. So I did that because it's like, hey, it's 5 years ago. Let's go ahead. But I just kind of got sad, like not because of where I was at that point. If anything, it's kind of like, oh yeah, if I could go back in time, I would change things. But I just got sad, and so then I decided to put on that song 7 years. Once I was 7 years old, like I just got very like, oh, I don't know, but if you want to share your experience, if you feel the opposite of what I'm feeling or similar.
I just turned 29 like a few weeks ago, so I am almost 30, and that is definitely it's interesting for me to be on the cusp of, a big age um milestone. So yeah, it's interesting. I am so happy to be where I am right now, but life is hard too. That's why, yeah, when you had reached out and you're like, oh, how you doing? I'm like, I am doing as well as I can right now, is essentially the answer. But a lot of it is just kind of accepting of circumstances and like appreciating the things that I am able to do. There is so much more I can do now than I was able to do back in 2020 in the middle of shutdown. So I am so grateful for that. But yeah, I do understand the feeling though of kind of looking back, and there's a lot that I do look back on, and I'm kind of sad that it's like, oh well, I'm never gonna be able to do this again, or like
Yeah.
that stage of my life is just gone now, and it's never going to come back, and there is something really sad about that, but it's also like, well, I wouldn't exactly trade places right now either, but yeah, I don't know, it is sweet and sad. I guess like I feel like never mind, that might be too off topic.
No, go ahead, share. I want to hear your
So
takes.
yeah, as I've been doing the booktube journey, I've also been doing the writer journey alongside
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's awesome.
And that has definitely been like where I started 5 years ago to now has drastically changed. So yeah, I think there's something really exciting about that, because I do think it does line up very well with like when I started YouTube is kind of when I started writing and submitting, and like, back then, like I was still kind of learning how to do things, and like now I feel like I've gotten way better at my art. I know, again, like there's still things for me to learn and experience with writing, but like I do think like I have made so much progress. I have had so much publications over the years of like short stories and poetry, which is really exciting. And then also I've gotten adjusted to getting rejections. I have like meticulously kept track of every submission I've sent out, because you will start to forget what story you've sent where. Um, and I've counted up the rejections, and I'm like at 200 rejections out of, I think, 225 stories I've sent out. So obviously the statistics lean heavy into rejections. And I remember, like, at the start of this journey, every single rejection I got was devastating at the time. Like, it was always like, oh my God, like, I need to quit writing because I'm just trash, like totally spiraling. And then, yeah, over the years and over the rejections, it's gotten easier. Um, yeah, just like gradually easier. Now, like, it doesn't bother me terribly anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, whatever, like I'll send it somewhere else. I'll send them something else, you know. I've really gotten good about adopting that attitude. Every now and then there is that rejection that does penetrate the armor, because it can still be tough sometimes, but I do acknowledge that, like, yeah, like at the beginning, like it was the most upsetting experience I could have, and now I've definitely come a long way. And
That's
it's
awesome.
a skill that you need to have too, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One thing I'll say in regards to kind of what you were talking about, trying to think of what it was, but basically what you were saying, I don't know, like in particular the past couple days, sometimes I have such a brain fart that literally I just stop talking. My whole body is just like shut down. It's like nothing's coming in. It's like what? But basically one thing I would like to say is what is it I want to say? It's something. But basically, uh it's oh, one thing that I would say in comparison to right now is better than 2020. That way I can't just be sad about the past, is I am doing much better in creating content now. And one of the biggest reasons, besides the fact of getting better experience, because the more experience you have, the better you're, more comfortable, you know more, and different experiences, you get older, sometimes you get wiser, it depends. But motivation changes. But I would say one of the biggest things is my new computer. I got it in 2021. It was 100% worth the $800. It's a Mac Mini, but like it's 100% worth it. Like I'm a cheapskate. I don't like to spend money at all, but it was 100% worth getting. Like it works super fast. It has a great CPU. Like it just works. And like the number of times and stuff, definitely with my old MacBook, like it was refurbished, and like just in general, it would always work. Anytime I would use Final Cut Pro to try to create a video, it just, it was always hot and it was super slow. And the number of times I'd have to stop and wait like hours before I could continue upload or continue making a video happen. Like I don't have that problem. Like I can actually post, upload, make it happen. Like it's just really nice to have that. Um but yeah, like that's definitely something I'm very happy. And I would say too, I actually talked about this in my 2024 recap video, which was one of my, maybe it was the first upload from this year. But basically I wanted to, kind of recap things in 2024, and definitely I wanted to talk about the channel itself. And one of the things I did talk about is, what did I talk about? What am I talking about? I'm so sorry. I'm just like in my brain. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like there's nothing in particular that's happened recently where I can't think, but for some reason I can't. Um it's something, uh what is it? Oh, there are a lot of things that I would erase. Like I've suffered some very hard lessons from start of 2020 to now that I would 100% erase. I would 100% hit the do-over button. However, one thing that does keep me pleased about the present is this channel and how I'm doing with it, and the connections I've had there, which is something that I definitely wrote down. Of course, you and Johara, and the little bit of connections we had with some of the other ladies that used to be on the live shows, like Kristen. I still miss her. It's too bad that she decided to leave. And then, Jessica, Tiffany, some of the other girls. And yeah, like, connecting with book creators from Twitter was very cool when I was still on Twitter. And I would say, like, after everything with Musk, like, literally, I saw so many people leave. So it's like, what's even the point? No one's really doing it, interacting, whatever. And then I wouldn't say Instagram as much. However, from Threads, that's how I was able to have this book club. you know? Like, it's really nice to have that connection now. So, yeah, like it's just um, you know, very very cool to have this stuff. So that's one of those things that like I've definitely gotten better. And I mean, even the change from the start of 2024 to the end of 2024, I was at like 83 subscribers. I jumped up to 162. um the amount of views, like I had like 14,000 some views added from 2024. And like just in general, getting more comments was really exciting. And in general, like every single movie I watched in theaters I did a video of, versus how it was in 2023, which was super exciting. Like I definitely made sure uploads happened. That I don't know, it's just cool to see that and see the growth. And I'm hoping, I'm not saying 2025 has treated me that well, whether it be through YouTube or beyond. And I think it is like that for many people at this point. But I'm not gonna be 100% pessimistic. Like I think things could change and things could get better. Like I still have this video that I look forward to posting on this channel. It's called Vines as Movie Lines, you know, old Vines. So it's something I'm still very much looking forward to. Like there are videos that I have in the works, and you know, like one of these days they'll come out and I'll make it happen. You know, sometimes I get intimidated, even if it's not going to be a very long video. It's like you want it to do well, you get excited about it. Like I'll say one video that I thought was gonna hit for me, like it was gonna work out, was um basically I made this video in 2023 called The Office Clips as Christian Memes. You know, it was pretty funny, it was cute, it was just a short video, and I've done short videos before that have done really well. And at first it did do well for only 24 hours, and then it just didn't really do anything. It's still doing fine, it's at 500 something views, but it's like it just didn't go the way I thought it was gonna. Like there are definitely the videos like that. But if you'd like to share anything in regards to what I'm saying to relate to yourself, or anything from Twitter, Instagram, any interactions, not just YouTube itself.
Really helpful back in the day to be connected to Johara, and I think I met you through Johara.
Yeah, it was the
Is that
live
right?
stream, was like the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I first, yeah, like was able to connect with other booktubers through Twitter. And kind of with like writers too through Twitter, but then I don't know what year it was. I think like yeah, as soon as Twitter switched over to Musk, like I noticed like oh my god, like I am not seeing the people I want to see on my timeline anymore, and like it's just completely changed. So I hopped off of that pretty quick. Tried doing Instagram for a bit. Instagram's like okay, like you know, like I don't have the best experience on Instagram. I have met other authors that way, but it's not the same as Twitter was. And then yeah, I've made the jump over to Threads and Blue Sky. I have better interactions on Threads, I find. But more people I know is on Blue Sky, so it's like a weird split there. But I still feel like yeah, like all told, like nothing really beat like Twitter back in the day almost.
100%. Yeah, like that's why I wanted to keep it. And really, so I deleted Twitter, but I fully intended to reinstate the account. Like I'm like, oh yeah, you know, because it's like it gives you a month to reinstate it, and then you can do whatever. And I meant to, and then the countdown, the cutoff happened, and I was like, no, I messed up. But honestly, it may have been for the best, but at the same time, it's still just really lame, because it's like I liked the format. I liked reading. Like I liked to see these little things. And I would say definitely, and I could still see it. Like I would say, I don't know if you check YouTube Studio at all, if you check your analytics, but I love to look at analytics. And one of the things is it can show you externally what led to someone clicking on your video. And so it'll come up with like Google search, Instagram, Twitter, iMessage, stuff like that. And yes, Google search is the highest, but Twitter was very much a very good way of assisting. And my whole intent of doing Instagram was to try to create an audience and try to bring them to YouTube. And I would definitely say that is not, where it's going at all. So I've kind of given up on it, but I still promote it. I still promote my videos and everything. And yeah, the number of external clicks from Instagram is compared to what it was for Twitter, like I don't know. I mean this is the whole reason I deleted Instagram back in 2019. Like at the end of 2019, I got rid of it because the number of that was like when the earlier days of TikTok, like it didn't totally dominate yet, but it did get so many videos were on Instagram. And I'm just a total TikTok hater, and let me put it out there. But like it's like this isn't even Instagram. What's even the point? So I got rid of it, and I decided to get Instagram back this past year because I thought it might be something. And I will say, I'm just so irritated by all these short little videos. Like they already say, our attention spans are totally destroyed. We have a worse attention span than a goldfish, which is crazy. Like, and I have seen my screen time. Like, sometimes I can go and watch a movie, TV show, whatever, but there are times I'm just scrolling, looking at videos. And I will say, one of the things that irks me the most about these videos, the music they put on. It's always the same songs, and they get in my head, even though I hate these songs. Like, almost no songs I like are on these videos. So it just kind of disappoints me that really my 20s so far have been so much time dedicated to pointless, wasted time videos. And I'm not trying to totally dismiss on people who create, but at the same time, I'm like, we could do so much better, Like, I'm so irritated by the whole thing. And like, okay, I think I'll mention it because it kind of relates to what I'm about to say. But I don't know if you've seen it, but they posted this little thing, DreamWorks posted this little thing on Shrek 5, a teaser. I hate it. I hate it so much. It looks so bad and so terrible. And here's what irritates me the most, okay? So there are a lot of people who hate it. And rightly so. Like, it looks terrible. Even if we didn't have an established creation of Shrek, okay? I still would hate it. Like, there are bad animations of new stuff that I will never watch because it looks too terrible. And I did that even as a kid. There were things that I just thought looked too weird. So to try and say, oh, you can't accept something being new, it's like, get real. It just looks bad. But the number of people, because there are plenty, like I'm saying, that are totally on the same page about hating it. But there are so many who are like, no, it's good, it's fine, whatever. And I feel like, considering the lack of quality of movies, TV shows, I think books too, because now it's kind of getting into some overconsumption, and like they've already said, the number of edits are totally getting reduced, which is such a shame. And then, I don't know, I think music's still good. I'm sure other people would disagree, but I think music's fine, so I'm not going to count that one. But like all this stuff and these videos, these short, stupid little videos that's all from TikTok, and then it gets recycled to every other platform. Like, I think all that culmination, it's just broken people's brains. Because I feel like if these same people saw this Shrek 5 image and video, they would 100% say, if this was before TikTok, or at least around the time of 2019, they would 100% say, that's trash, that's terrible. Everyone would be in agreement. I feel like because of the lack of quality, there are people maybe a little younger than us, maybe some Gen Alpha, younger Gen Z, I'm not sure, but I feel like there are too many people right now that are accepting slop, garbage. Like that's my 2 cents. That's how I feel. But, if you want to share your opinion on what I'm saying. Oh no,
Decreasing quality.
see, if you could just uh
Repeat. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about like my disappointment in YouTube. Definitely over the 5 years I've been a part of it, I've noticed the decrease in quality. Um, yeah, like I try to be mindful of the quality of things I consume. Like I'll watch trash TV sometimes, but for sure, like I want to like minimize, the garbage I'm consuming. But when it comes to YouTube, like I'll click on what sounds to be like a really interesting video. The title sounds great. The thumbnail looks great. And then it's like a half hour long or longer. And I realize, oh, this person isn't saying anything. Like it's just these circle points, like reiterating without like any point to it. It's just all about getting people to click on the video. Also, the amount of YouTube content that's just reacting to TikToks is like so frustrating because it just feels so lazy. There's so much laziness and quality of YouTube, but I think it does stem from, like you have to constantly be uploading and why put the effort to make it like these really quality videos if you can, get this slop instead that's still going to get the clicks and, probably has more of an audience than something a little more sophisticated, which might confuse people. And I think that's happening on a larger scale too with like movies and TV, it's just yeah, I've been super disenchanted with movies over the years. I am a hater for sure of all the reboots, all the needless sequels. Yeah, no one wants to take a risk on something new. No one wants to take a risk in general. It's all about let's make something easy that might not be groundbreaking, might not have cultural significance down the line, but it'll fill our pockets for the time being. So yeah, that's something. Yeah, on both levels of both. Yeah,
Yeah. No,
media in
absolutely.
general, and it definitely is happening in the book community too. That's another reason why I don't like popular books.
Yeah. No, 100%. And here's what I will say. Okay, like the one thing that's kind of good about me posting on this channel instead of the book channel, besides the fact that this is where I'm consistent that I'm uploading, but in general also, not that they would be watching the video, but on the off chance that they did, one thing that I will definitely criticize too, and I know it's a hot take, I know it's a controversial talking point, but really it really grinds my gears because I like to read contemporary books. I do like the occasional sci-fi because I love sci-fi since I was a kid, but like in general I usually just go for something kind of easy. Like the setting is it's our world, so I don't need to put all this brain power into that part. Let's just see the story. Like I just sometimes I like to go for that. But one thing that really irks me, so I also like to read romance, and I think it's really stupid that the definition of romance to some creators is romance, sweet, fluffy, nice, loving, But romance, in terms of romance books, to some people, is just smut. You know what I mean? So that's one thing with my book club. It's a romance book club. And so I'm thinking, oh, nice. And that's really all they want. They like the hot chili peppers, whatever, emoji you want to use. Like, that's all they're about. And like, there was something we did, like the last book club meeting we did, and literally one of the girls was like, and no YA books. It's like, why not YA? What's wrong with YA? Like, there's nothing wrong with YA. Like, there are bad YA books, just like there's bad adult books, bad middle grade, bad super little for children books. Like, let's be real. I don't know why you're gonna hate on YA so much, and I know exactly why they said that, because they don't want a closed door, sex free. It's just very frustrating because it's like, okay, you want to have that? I'm not about that. I don't want to read that, but okay. But like, just that sort of stuff. It's just frustrating that it's like, that's all they care about. Is it well written? Don't care. Is it a good story? Don't care. Good characters? Don't care. Is it spicy? Oh, I kissed so much. Let's talk about. It just really, really irritates me, and it's just a little frustrating because it's like, there are a lot of book creators. That's all they care about. And one of the things that kind of irks me, I was actually saying this when I just got my haircut. I was talking to this girl who was doing my hair, and I was just talking about in general the book talk people, and in general too, even booktube users. Sometimes the biggest ones weren't even originally from booktube. Like, it really irritates me. Like, I used to watch this girl Haley Pham. I don't know if you've seen her at all. Okay, but basically some of these creators came from other things. They were the beauty influencers, the style influencers. You know what I mean? That it's almost like, and I'm not trying to say let's gatekeep books, because books are for everyone. I'm not trying to say that. But I feel like it's kind of like one of those things of, you don't understand the struggle. You didn't get, made fun of, or any sort of thing. Like, you're not book people. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just really irritates me that those are the biggest creators, and people who work hard, that actually have been reading books almost their entire lives, and then they get shorted for any kind of attention and whatever. I don't know. It just kind of super irritates me. And I wouldn't say I have that same experience with movies. And I'm not saying, like, there is really bad content and quality, 100%. And some of the creators for that, obviously, they can be very, nah, But specifically what I'm talking about for some of the content from Book Talk, from before Book Talk, and in general, just what some of these girls really want to read, it's frustrating, because it's like, do you even read? Like, why do you read books? Like, is that all you're looking for, really? Like, I don't know. I've already been aware of this before I joined this book club, but seeing it and actual conversations where they're talking about positions and what they want from the book in regards to that, it's kind of crazy. It's like, whoa. But I'd like to hear anything in regards, like, am I too much on the hot take? Am I about to get not canceled, because that's stupid, but you get it.
It's so interesting hearing your perspective.
Repeat.
Huh?
Can you start it over? Repeat.
Oh, yeah. I feel a little bit out of my depths because I'm not a romance reader. So yeah, hearing your perspective is so interesting, because it's just like, oh yeah, like that's just not my neck of the woods when it comes to fiction. But yeah, I am aware of like romantasy as a genre, and its popularity on Book Talk. I won't touch TikTok with a 10-foot pole. I think it's just a waste of time. And what I do is not going to be popular on there. I know that already. I've accepted that. I definitely can understand your frustrations of like, oh, like people only want to read one type of thing. And it's like, okay, like that's fine if you guys want to read like a more smutty book this time, but like there should be variety, you know, it should be a little bit more. Yeah. And I guess like the only like personal experience I have with that is like the amount of times I'll like meet someone new, you know, I'm trying to make some friends and, you know, people will be like, "Oh, well, you guys are both readers." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. Like, what book are you reading?" And it's like A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't want to read that one." And yeah, like I mean I will say like I do think all reading is good. If that's what people want to read, so be it. But it is I feel frustrated when like I meet people and that's all that they read and then it's like, okay, well this is kind of end of conversation now. Like this is a dead end because I don't read those books and I don't think like conversely like that person would want to read the books that I like, you know? So it is a little bit frustrating. Yeah, I feel your frustration. And yeah, I do think like there should be more adult fiction that is romance but doesn't necessarily contain scenes of an erotic nature. Like, yeah, like I'm all for variety, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's crazy to me, because this is a book they were hyping about, my book club and the group chat, and they were just talking so much about it. It's called Lights Out. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's like taken some readers by storm, and it is terrible. Okay, and one of the things that is weird to me, like I've definitely read books, romance adjacent books, and yeah, they have a couple scenes, maybe more than a couple scenes, but they don't go past, let's say, more than you could count on your one hand. But the number of scenes in that one and some of the others that they read, I'm like that's, if you cut out every single scene, this book is going to be like that. You could almost not see it. You know what I mean? Like there's like nothing else to it. And one of the most frustrating things to me, okay, I know there are people who are fine with it, but I'm not. When, especially because it never happens opposite, like the opposite never happens. But the number of times that these scenes that are supposed to be so hot and, you're supposed to get hot and bothered for, the number of times it's just abuse and, he's hurting her. And she's not enjoying herself, but somehow, yes, she is. It's like, like that's the whole reason I gave such a brutal rant review to Colleen Hoover's book, that book that I read, Maybe Not. Like, are you kidding me? Like, if you're gonna have this content, okay. Like, I don't want to read it, but that's fine. But when it's particularly abusive, like it is so frustrating to see that. I don't know. It's just, and I will say one of the weirdest things to me about, obviously kind of what we talked about at the early parts of this live stream, the whole thing of censorship. You have to be careful what you say. Sorry, it was having some uh not good with the Wi-Fi. I think it's fine now. Sorry. Yeah. But basically, what's really crazy to me is there's all these rules on what you can and cannot say, can and cannot do, and yet, especially with like the kind of content that I'm talking about for these books, like, and I see now that I've definitely followed certain book creators and reels exist, and the number of times that the author is trying to promote their book and they're going for the most brutal scene, right? Yeah, I guess technically they censor part of the words of, some very dirty words that you shouldn't be able to do, but like that's crazy. Like, what do you mean you can say that? just because you have it slightly censored. Like, it's just kind of crazy because, like, just to compare it to movies and TV shows like The Office, yes, there are times where they say something dirty and so they just do the little beep, the censor. But it's not like a whole scene and it's 100% supposed to be super dirty and every 2 seconds is a beep. No, like it's just crazy to me what is still allowed, even if they say, oh yeah, we care about keeping this more maybe not just family friendly, but like not safe for work kind of content. We're not gonna let that be there. Twitter certainly had it. And I would say, like, just some of this stuff is, I mean, people already say that, like, some stuff is borderline, but, like, it's just kind of crazy that, like, some things you can and cannot do, like copyright. Oh, if you even try to mess with copyright, you are in so much trouble. But some of the things that should be way more prioritized to not be allowed, that's okay. I don't know. It just kind of irritates me that, yeah, they say, oh, this is censored, but you can get away with it. Like, let's be real. But that's a little bit about my opinion there. But if you'd like to share anything, Robin.
Sent on TikTok during shutdown, and it lasted like I think 3 months of like obsessive scrolling. And the reason why I ultimately decided to delete it is because I kept seeing like extremely racist takes, and I would report it, and TikTok would review it and say, no, this is fine. And I'm like, okay, but you literally have in your like codes of conduct, like no hate speech, and like this is hate speech. So yeah, I totally agree that like, but yeah, if something's copyrighted, heaven forbid, like that's been taken down. But the fact that, yeah, like I would report like actual extremely racist, hateful stuff being said, and TikTok would be like, no, it looks fine to us, you know. So there's something, yeah, weird going on there. I feel like I had another. Oh, your points about like the abuse dynamic between men and women in books. I feel like this is why like I don't read romance at all. It's just like I don't have any stomach for that whatsoever. You know what I mean? I get it. I don't know, some women might be into it. I don't really understand it, but I'm not gonna yuck someone's yum. But the fact that that's kind of the norm in romance is what bothers me, and why like I'm sorry, like I kind of have wrote off the genre as something I probably won't ever read. No shade to you for liking to read it.
No,
You
no,
know.
you're 100% right for that. Because no, it is really irritating, and that's kind of why, like, I. That's kind of what happened in 2020. I was only reading young adult, and it's like,
Oh
is
yeah.
is it over? Can I not enjoy this anymore? Let me move on to adult, and then I get the most ridiculous, very much not okay kind of stuff. And I'm not saying all, but it's way more prevalent in what you're saying. Like, it's more the standard and everything. So no, I totally understand you there. And in regards to what you're talking about like things that are racist, sexist, like some of the most brutal things that shouldn't be allowed for someone to say on any sort of platform. I definitely reported things on Twitter, and every single time I come back, oh no, it doesn't violate our guidelines. It's fine. Have you heard the horrible thing that now Mark Zuckerberg has had, where basically he's allowing men to compare women, any woman. He's allowed anyone to compare women to household uh, objects. It's insane. Like, he just released that. Like, this sort of stuff is getting crazy. And I would say too, in regards to what we're talking about censorship, but not really. I mean, look at like some of these horrible podcasts. Like, they just Like, they are saying the most horrible stuff, and they're not censoring it, but that's okay. Like, it is very, very annoying. Oh, thank you so much. I think you left, but thank you so much for coming on. But I don't know, just some of that stuff is so irritating. But sometimes I do think about, since we are still talking about YouTube and everything and being a creator, one thing that kind of sometimes I think about, oh, wouldn't it have been nice to be in the early years? Like, sometimes I think about that, but at the same time, it's like, hey, can't change the past. Not to mention, I would have been a child during the early years. So that wouldn't really work. But I don't know. Like, there's still definitely plenty of good stuff for YouTube and everything. And I mean, I am still super irritated because obviously we've been here for 5 years, so we saw the incorporation of shorts. They had to bring on their own TikTok stuff, and it's so irritating because I always click not interested because I don't want to see it. But the number of times they just keep trying to promote it, and the fact that they have a tab for shorts, that's so irritating. Like, I mean, even before that was annoying, the trending one, because it's like, as if I'm going to click on what's trending. I don't care. But at least with that, okay, but shorts, no. Like, let me disable every single thing about shorts. I don't want to see it. Like, none of this short form content I want to see. And I definitely am irritated that I kind of got sucked into it, just in terms of consuming it. Because I definitely, and I'm not saying it's the only thing, but it's definitely a big contributor to some of my issues with attention span at this point is that. And like, definitely last year, 2024, was very hard for me to get into anything, to be excited by anything. Like, I couldn't get into TV shows. Like, maybe I'd watch an episode and then I'd ditch it. It would take me forever to watch a movie. Like, I'd watch, let's say 30 minutes, and over the next couple days, maybe I would make it wait longer. But it's like, just things are just messed up. And there are times where I'm like, just to demonstrate, if I could grab my phone. Okay. What I really want to do with this thing, like, I use it like all the time, but in regards to what I'm saying, in terms of all the junk that they have for social media, attention span sort of thing, I just want to, totally kick it to the curb, try to read some books, try to do movies, exercise, whatever. And so much of the time that doesn't happen. Like, it's almost like my normal is that just consuming this stuff even when I don't want to. It's like I hate it, but then I kind of want to see, is there anything new? Is there anything exciting? Anything worthwhile? It almost never is. It's just, you're just looking at junk. But then when I'm having a good day, it's almost like so much of the day, let's say like 5 days out of the week, I'm doing that. And then one day I'm super productive. I'm out of the house, barely any screen time. Maybe I'm exercising. Maybe I'm going for a walk. Maybe I'm grocery shopping, going to the bookstore, going to the library. Like, there's plenty of good, fun things to do, but it's almost like I don't make it a regular habit. And I definitely want to change that. There's definitely things, 2025 goals I have that I want to execute. Some things I've executed, but others I'm like, oh no. But what's your experience? Like, I don't know how regular it is for you to be consuming some of this trash stuff.
Revisit 2025 goals if that isn't already on our agenda. So bookmark that later. But yeah, I have had like the worst writer's block I've had in, like, I don't even know when the last time I've had this bad of writer's block. And I think it is like I just don't have an attention span anymore. So, and again, like me talking about like trying to be mindful about like the quality of things I'm consuming, like that has been something I've been yeah, trying to do a lot more because I've never checked my screen time, but I definitely know there's times where I'm just like on YouTube for hours on end, and that's not good at all. And yeah, like I also like last year I would start new TV shows and then never finish them like crazy. Um I remember, I mean, this was a few years back, but the last time Stranger Things came out, I remember like watching those episodes in 15-minute increments because that's all I could pay attention to before my attention span would go away. So it's definitely something that has been a long time in the coming for me. And I think a lot of it's just like the way social media is designed right now is, to further enable low attention spans and to get people hooked and stayed on it. So, yeah, it's always helpful to me to recognize a problem like that and then make conscious effort. I'm still in the process of doing that. I didn't really read many paper book or print books last year. Everything I read was audiobook or ebook, so I want to try reading more print books just to get me away from a screen. Um so that's like one way I'm trying to contest that. Love that you said that you like to take walks because that's like a huge part of my life now. Is yeah, just walking in nature, spending time with people I care about is also like a huge thing that like, if you're stuck on your phone all the time, you're not paying attention to people. So, um yeah, those are some of my tips, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Something in regards to what you were talking about, I think it was the instead of just doing audio and ebook. So one thing that I want to incorporate that I think would be fun to do um, is to really try and get I'm slipping away there, but my physical TBR. So it's this shelf. So, I definitely want to, read a good number of these books. I'm trying to do it for once a month. The past 2 months have not worked out, but maybe things can change. But basically, this fun little thing I now have is I'm doing the Wheel of Names, that website. So now I put every single thing on my physical TBR, and that way I spin it. It gives me a random selection. So for March, it's going to be this book called Not My Problem. So I look forward to reading that. Like I I think it's fun to do, and I'm not saying I will 100% commit, but I think to have a more of a plan like that would be good. And I definitely know the difference of an ebook versus a physical book. There's 100% a difference. And in the past, I think ebook I would get faster with it, but I don't think that's the same anymore. And I definitely think there's maybe not per se lacking in absorbing the actual content, but almost. You know what I mean? Like just there's just something more. You're present, you're in the moment, you have something physical in your hands. Like there's just something so much better about that. And of course also blue light. Gotta stay away from blue light. And for the past couple of years, it really happened around 2021, but in general, just I don't wear my glasses and I don't really need them. But one of the things that it has is the sun protection. So it does assist with blue light, and I never do it. And I definitely know, not that I didn't have this problem in the past, but definitely struggling to get to sleep. Like if I'm really tired, it's almost like I literally am switched. In the night, I'm up, ready to go. In the daytime, that's when I'm gonna sleep. That's more my schedule anyway, it feels like. But sometimes I can kind of fix it, make it standard baseline, but usually it's just a little like, I don't know, like I definitely want to change things, make things more. I want to create. Like, yes, I'm creating videos and I love doing that, but one of these things, like, when's the last time I drew? Not for so many years ago. Like I had this drawing class for my last year of high school back in 2018, 2019. Maybe it was just 2018. I think it was just a semester. But like, yeah, like that was fun to do. It was fun to create. And when's the last time I've drawn? I don't. And then I get all sad if I do try to draw and I'm not making any good progress. And it's like, well, no wonder you haven't practiced. Practice helps, you know? Like, of course, it's going to be hard to motivate yourself when it's, you're not doing it and then it doesn't look good. But it's also like, dedicate the time, put the energy in. But in regards to what you're saying, for writing, same thing here. I have a couple kits. It's like called Right Now. I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to utilize that. And in general, I do want to write. I really don't write anymore. I don't even come up with ideas. I don't have any inspiration. Sometimes in my dreams, if anything, I'm so focused on other things and worried about things and thinking about the past and thinking about the future, thinking about the present, just so many stressors that the only time that really my brain will come up with any kind of cool idea is usually when I'm dreaming, Like I don't know. It's like just been forever since I've created anything for any sort of standard story. And I've definitely had fun with creating stories. And it doesn't just have to be like a standard chapter book story. Like I did this really cool thing. It was like an A-B scene. And it was basically like just a dialogue heavy thing. It's just two people talking. And I created a video from that because because it was for class. And then I asked my video art teacher if I could do it as a video. And she said yes. And so it really worked out. Like I've definitely done it before where I created something, I've written something and then I create a video from it. Like I definitely want to make that more of something to do. Like maybe I won't script write, screenwrite, whatever, but it could be something interesting to try. Maybe something super short. Like I don't know. It's just a bummer that so much of my creativity that used to be, because one of the biggest things, and I don't know if you had to decide, let's say 3 traits about you, like how you would describe yourself or how others would describe yourself. But one of the biggest things for me, and is always consistent, is I'm creative. And that is true. I was a very creative kid and I have been creative. Like, I mean, I came up with this, like having a whole thing going, not just something of like, yeah, I'm celebrating 5 years. That's it. Bye. Like, no, I wanted to come up with, questions, come up with ideas, script it out, plan it, that sort of thing. Like, there are still plenty of things that I do creatively, but I do feel like my creativity is taken a back seat, and it's a bummer. But yeah.
Creative videos. Like, and I feel like you kind of did that with your Inside Out video, and I liked it. So yeah, I feel like if you could incorporate more bits into your stuff, that could be really fun. Or just like separate bit videos too could be a really fun way to get yourself writing again and still working on your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, like I definitely think there's been some very fun things, whether it be from YouTube, from my brain to YouTube. You get what I'm saying when I say from YouTube, but like YouTube and things other than YouTube. But like one thing that had been fun when I first created the book channel was I read that book, How to Hack a Heartbreak. I really hated that book, but it was really cool to like, I did something new, something I hadn't done before of like, reacting to certain excerpts and having a whole essay's worth of a conversation of my review. Like usually when I'm doing a review, not that I don't write things down, but it's usually like, like let's say this is the phone. That's about how much my review is, like it's not that much, but it's okay. But like that review, I mean, that served as like 2 or so, maybe more than 2 pages, but you get it. Like, it's just fun to do that kind of stuff. And the same thing for when I reviewed Barbie. Like, I wrote that all the way through. Like, that was like a whole essay. Like, it's fun to do that. And I will say, too, one thing that is hard for me is kind of my identity from high school or school in general. Like, I really liked to, in my writing, sometimes I was like super formal, even though in speaking, hanging out with people, whatever, I'm one of the most informal people, let's be real. But in writing, I really like to be formal. I just kind of like to be sophisticated, not in like the old Shakespearean type of speaking, not like that, but like just in general, just following every single grammar and spelling rule to a T, just like just certain things and just the way of speaking and sometimes more eloquent language sometimes, just using certain words instead of the more simple word, the synonym of a more sophisticated SAT word, if you will, like stuff like that. Like, that's really what I was like. And in general, I would create a lot. And I will say one thing that is tricky for me from leaving school is sometimes, and I'm not saying actually, but sometimes I feel stupid sometimes. And it's hard to deal with. I'm not gonna, act like it's not, but it's just frustrating because it's like, okay, obviously some of the things from school is you're always getting educated. You're always learning something, and it's present in the head. It's not like, the being smart is only from whatever we were taught. Like, there's other things, and there's definitely things that I say eloquently. I will say some of that can also come from certain social interactions. Like, I will say, and not to be like super whatever, but if anything, he's the one who's doing the bad thing. But like my brother, so he's currently getting his master's. So yes, like he has not really taken a break from school. So obviously he has that advantage. But the number of times he really is almost like the mansplainer type or the looking down on you type. If you want to say something silly, do something silly, or even talk, even if what you mean is actually pretty eloquent, but like because to him, it's not up there. Like, it's just annoying. But yeah, like that's just a little something. But if you want to say anything in regards to what I said just there, and then we could get into the 2025 goals if you'd like to get into that.
I know what you mean by feeling like stupid. I feel like especially when it comes to like doing adult stuff, like I get so insecure sometimes and I can get frustrated and upset sometimes because it's like I'm literally doing this for the first time on my own, and sometimes the other person I'm working with doesn't understand that, and it's like, well, like, can you explain this to me a little bit better? Like I'm getting intimidated by all this paperwork and stuff. So I can definitely empathize with you there. Sounds like your brother's just pretentious. Like, I don't think I would get along with him terribly well.
No, I know exactly. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the male preference or he's the baby of the family, but it definitely is something where it can be frustrating because I want to rant about it, I want to get frustrated about it, and the number of times that
Yeah.
oh, I'm in the wrong, or it's not a big deal, or he said sorry, or no, he didn't even say sorry usually, but it's just so frustrating because it's like, what in the world? And you know what? I'm actually way nicer than I was when we were kids. And the number of times he's so mean to me, it's like unbelievable, man. I'm not even doing anything. It's just it's really, really frustrating. But no, but he's done things and like some of his ideology and other sorts of opinions that's really frustrating. Like, there's something that he did that maybe when we actually end the live stream before we leave the chat I could share with you, but it was like, oh my gosh, like, no, like I still 100% hold it against him because he saw nothing wrong with what he said. It's just crazy, some of the things, and like, I don't know. And also, it can be frustrating too. Not that I'm in competition with my brother. Like, I wouldn't want to be doing what he's doing. Like, he's more into stuff that's like, if you're gonna fit it into our standard education brackets of what a subject is, more in the social studies thing, you know? Like, I liked math because I'm really good at math, and then reading, you know, the reading, writing, the English, like that stuff, I'm fine with that. I liked science. Maybe I wasn't as good at science, and I'm talking A versus A plus. That's all I'm talking about. But social studies, I hated social studies. Nothing about social studies I liked. I liked psychology, but you know, that's a little different. But I'm talking like the history, economic. Well, I mean, when I did economics, that was a fun little class, but it's still just social studies, just government classes like that. You know, I hate that stuff. Anyway, so I'm not saying I would want to, you know, do what he's doing. And I like that since I was 14 years old, I know what I want to do. I want to make movies. I want to make this happen. And maybe I'm not, you know, anywhere close to the Hollywood or the indie people, but like I'm creating, I'm making things happen. I'm, you know, in a way, part of the movie industry, you know? So like I 100% am very happy to be where I am for some of these parts. It would be nice to make money, and hopefully one day I can. Obviously, that is not the point right now. But the number of times where it's like, oh yeah, you graduated, you know, this early, you did this, you did that. Like the number of times, whether it's we're talking to family, friends, you know, it's just the four of us talking, can be very demoralizing because it's like, what about me? You know? So that's definitely sometimes some tricky stuff. But yeah, so if you want to say anything there, and then we can do the goals.
Do you have more after goals?
I missed all of what you said other than goals.
Gotcha. I figured by the expression on your face. Let's go to goals, and then do you want to wrap up after that, or do you have any other talking points?
I don't have any other talking points. I don't think there's. Oh, okay. One quick thing I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Before, and I kind of talked about this really, but you know, it's just cool to have like milestones, whether it be on the book channels, on the movie channels, and I basically already shared this. They were just not fully related, but yeah, it's been very cool to have, you know, over 34,000 views overall. Very exciting. And like I said, 20,000. I finally hit that in January this year, so that's very exciting. And the first 1,000 views on one video from the Funny Bambi shirt was very exciting. And one thing I thought was cool, and I know this video did well on the old channel too, but my Believe Me, which is the last book in the Shatter Me books, I finally hit over 1,000 views on that video, the first time for that channel that I did that. So I was like, wee, let's go. You know, so that was very exciting. Did I put goals or resolutions? I'm trying to find it. Shoot. If you want to share any of your goals, you know, maybe we could start with you if you want.
I'm gonna mention yours about reading, and I agree. I have a similar goal of like trying to read more of like my physical TBR, because currently like I am like intimidated by the amount of books that I own that I have not read, and it's at the point where it's actually making me feel more upset than like, oh, excited to read. So yeah, that's definitely something I want to try. I really liked your idea too of the name spinner thing, so maybe I'll try that to kind of help me get through more of the books I physically own. I again reiterating a previous point of like trying to work on my attention span, for sure. As far as like my channel goals go, so I haven't been active much at all on my channel, and I can't really say I have any goals to like post again. I really only want to post when I'm inspired, when it feels good to me, just because again, as we've discussed, like there's no monetary reward for me, and like likes and interaction is pretty low. So for me, like I have to do it solely because, hey, this is something I enjoyed making and I want to share with people. Also, I've been working more on writing over the years, and writing time sometimes goes to writing scripts for my videos, so I've kind of taken that away. And honestly, like, my productivity like rised a lot when I did that writing wise. Just not this year. I have not in anything at all this year, and like that's really upsetting to me. But yeah, I have a lot of goals writing wise. I had written the roughest draft of a novella last year during November writing month. And so I want to edit that, get it in pretty good shape that maybe I can send it out on submission either late this year or next year. I want to finish my first short story collection, which is all themed around robots and androids, because I write a lot about those science fiction characters. And then I want to write a rough draft of another novella because I have these book ideas piling on. It's time to write them. So yeah, I've got mostly writing goals for this year and some reading goals. I'm trying for 100 books again this year, so I have yet to do it.
How are you doing so far?
So last month I've only read like 4 books, I think. This month I'm like almost caught up to where I need to be according to Goodreads. I read a lot this month. So fingers crossed. I think I'm only like 2 books behind right now, which is great compared to where I was last month.
That's really exciting. So last month I read 6 books, so that was definitely exciting. And this past month, like, I was trying to read, especially because I got the Kindle Unlimited, so 3 months for 99 cents. It's like, how could you say no? But, I was trying to read some of the Kindle Unlimited, but at the same time, I was reading some physical books. I was reading other stuff. Some of the Kindle Unlimited, you need to be in a good mood to read it. You need to be in the mood to do it. And so it just wasn't really working out. I pushed myself through this one book. I started it at the beginning of the month. I ended it at the end of the month. Like, it just was not working out well at all. And that's the only book I read. So I've read 7 books. And yeah, I really think maybe by taking away the pressure of Kindle Unlimited might actually be good. Maybe I could read some of my backlog, whether it be from the physical books I have, Libby, Hoopla, stuff like that. Any books I find at the library physically, I'm not sure. But no, that's really cool to have. And I think I just did the goal of 25 and 25 because last year all I did was 24. I don't know. Reading sometimes can be good. I definitely think, I'm not saying 100% that 2025 is just like 2024. I'm hoping that's not the case. But right now it feels a little like 2024 2.0, So that's a little difficult. Also, in regards to what you were saying about androids, robots, did you watch the DreamWorks movie, The Wild Robot?
See, you reviewed it though, but I don't want to watch your video until I watch that movie. But it looks really good.
It is so good. It is so great. So I watched it, the first time at the end of September. So that was really fun. And then it's available on Peacock if you have like the paid subscription. It's such a good movie. I watched it again. It was just as good, if not better. Like, it's so good. It's 100% a 10 out of 10 movie. You have to watch it 100%. Like, I do think it was the best movie of 2024. Just really, really good. Yeah, but you definitely should watch it. Also, did you watch Companion?
I really liked it. That's definitely like the type of stories that are gonna be in my collection is yeah, kind of stories like that. Yeah, like I went to see it with my roommate, and like as we were driving home I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad that you invited me to come today. Like, that's totally my jam. Like, that's something I would write essentially. And he was like, yeah, I figured that was
Yeah, no, it It was so good, so fun. I'm so glad I watched it. And I would say of what I've watched and reviewed so far this year, I've seen 3 movies. So it was Autumn and the Black Jaguar, which is like a kids movie with this black jaguar, and it wasn't good, so that was too bad. But at least you try. And then Companion, loved it, loved it. So I definitely think it'll be up there in terms of what's coming out this year in terms of my favorites. So I definitely liked it and definitely enjoyed reviewing it on my channel. And then I watched Hard Eyes. Terrible, terrible movie.
So I saw a preview for Hard Eyes when I saw Companion, and I was like, the editing of the trailer was so confusing tonally wise that like I was like sitting there like, is there something wrong with my brain? Like I genuinely thought like, oh my God, like do I have COVID or something? Like I just like could not comprehend this trailer because it was like, it kind of was a horror movie, but it has this fun soundtrack, and it was just like so totally inconsistent that like it left me so confused.
Yeah, no, I absolutely hated the movie. It was absolutely terrible. I don't understand why it was #1 at the box office for a good while. Companion never got that treatment, which is too bad because Companion deserved it way much than
Yeah.
Hard Eyes. And yeah, I know there were a fair number of people who liked it. Maybe they didn't love it, but they liked it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? No, I absolutely hated that one. And it was a little too bad too. So I used my last yellow ticket. So that's basically like a ticket voucher for AMC. So that was cool. But it was a bummer. What the movie was, I really wanted to leave the theater, especially when it seemed like it could end there and then it doesn't. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I understand why you're not ending it here, but it was just very whatever. And then it was especially a bummer. The least viewed video on my channel since when I started my channel. So when I was a tiny little baby channel. So that was super disappointing. It's like, like I did a pretty good job reviewing, but sometimes the clicks, sometimes the attention to the movie. So that was a bit of a bummer. But I just wanted to talk about movies for a second there. But so just a couple things for goals. So I do have a goal for my channel, but a lot of this is very much lifestyle goals. I want to change things. I'm going to make things happen, you feel? So some things are food related, exercise related, because I really need to do well by that. Like, yeah, I'm skinny, but like I need to do good. So I have this in all caps. Do not snack. The number of times I am snacking, and now I've connected back to my fitness pal, and almost every single time, half of my calories and nutrition and whatever is coming from snacks. I am eating good in terms of food, but they're super low in calories. So just all that sort of stuff, that's pretty lame, especially because like I'm not eating good healthy snacks. I'm eating Doritos, cookies, cupcakes, because now I've gone to Walmart and I've gotten these the vanilla and chocolate cupcakes. They are delicious and they are the perfect size, so it's not like frosting is getting all over your mouth and nose, so that's great. But those are so good and they're so addicting. Like there's 12 of them. The first time I got it, I finished it in like 3-4 days. Like I was just boom, they're gone. But I love them. But I do want to do better in terms of eating better. But reduce scrolling on phone time, which is 100% what I really got to do. Like the number of times I am deleting Instagram, but I bring it back because I want to add something to my story, especially when I'm trying to promote something like this. That's why I got it again. But usually when I delete Instagram, I'm not scrolling as much. Sometimes I check Threads, but Threads is way less damaging than the videos on Instagram. Yeah. So here's for a goal for my movie channel. So I really want to be consistent. So upload once a week, which would be 52 videos for 52 weeks. That hasn't really happened, but it's also like, I mean, if there's nothing to talk about, it's kind of hard to make a video. But like, I still want to make it happen. Like I could see, maybe something on Monday and something on Saturday, something like that. That way I could kind of catch myself up or whatever. So I want to commit to the art. Hopefully 1,000 subscribers could be within reach by the end of 2025. And if not, then halfway with 500 subscribers. Like, I definitely sometimes try to hype myself up and, don't get down in the dumps if it doesn't happen, because I still have my resolutions from 2020, 21, 22. The number of times I'm like, yeah, this is my goal, and then nothing ever comes of it, and I get bummed and sad about it. Like, I'm trying to be much nicer to myself. You know what I mean? So, and one thing, because this is something I've never gotten to do before, I want to go to a concert this year. I want to make it happen. Like, that is something I've not been able to do. So I'd really like to do that. Sometimes, how drama with family, whatever. So I did forget I put this down as a goal. But if you're gonna vent through journaling or voice memos. Like, sometimes you gotta feel it for yourself, whether it be you want a yes man, or in general, sometimes it becomes a fight. Like, you just don't want that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, so many times I really want to get things going. And I will say, even though I'm happy to have my book club people and to get to socialize, it's still in the early stages of friendship where it's kind of hard to trust them. So it's like, you don't want to share everything. But I will say, in the past, kind of since the start of 2020, I am way more sharing things that maybe I shouldn't. And I don't mean in like it's something bad, just in like, hey, you could have restrained yourself. You could have not said that. That's all I mean. So I have this question a day journal, and I had the goal to do that. So basically, you answer a prompt, and so for 2025 to 2029, I would be able to see kind of the differences in myself and how things are going. And it has not really worked out. Like, a couple of the entries I've actually committed to, and I did start it back in 2021. And now it's basically like I have to cut a piece of paper, write some things down, paste it there. That way I don't get rid of whatever was 2021. But the number of times, it's almost like how it was in school. Not that I cheated, but sometimes if like someone had a good idea, or how about when the books say something, you don't come up with it yourself, you just say what's already been said. That's basically what I'm doing to myself. I'm just copying myself. I'm like, yeah, what I said back 4 years ago. But yeah, I definitely want a fresh set of age appropriate clothes. I'd say this is more like my age, like, I mean, not that it has to only be like that, but like pretty much all I wear graphic tees, and I like them. Like, I care so much about comfort. I only have one, well, okay, technically I have 2 pairs of shoes, but they're the same style. Like, I'm almost like the antithesis of overconsumption in terms of products, because I don't like to try new things. I stick with one thing and I'm good for it. Like, my glasses, only that one pair of glasses. Like, if I need to get it replaced, the same style, exactly the same shoes. And yeah, like, I care so much about how it feels on my body. I needed to 100% be comfortable. The number of times I would go to Kohl's or whatever place and try things on, it looks nice, but it's uncomfortable. So there's 100% no way I'm gonna use it. But sometimes there are outfits or shirts, shorts, pants, whatever, that look very cool and stylish, that maybe could be cool, but it's definitely harder to find. But that's something that I'm hoping for. And I did go on a shopping trip at the end of January, and I found a couple clothes that I really liked. I got like this nice, sweater. It's almost like the color of the of what we have here with the what is it? This brand thing, like the Tiffany and Robin, like that sort of thing. Like, it's like that cool pink color. And but I definitely still have plenty of graphic tees that I got. Like, I like this one shirt because I'm a total Swiftie, and I got this shirt. It's in my lover era, so I had to get it, And there's this really nice shirt I got. It's a little wrinkled, which is too bad, but like I really like it. It's be the best version of you. And it's like, yeah, exactly. So hopefully I will find more nice clothes that aren't too expensive, try to find the discounts, but that's definitely something good. I do have it as a goal. Wear the forgotten clothes in your closet. There are definitely clothes that kind of got put on the back burner and just kind of whatever, whether it be they're slightly uncomfortable or just in general, I just never wear it. So that's something I want to do. Yoga. I want to do some yoga. I have a yoga mat. I have seen some of the yoga things for on YouTube, like yoga with Adriene, things like that. Like I definitely want to make that more of a thing because I will say, in general, I'm particularly not flexible. It just seems to be in general, that's just how my body is. But just some things, it would be good to stretch and do the good stuff. And then just in general, exercise. I definitely want to do more of the Wii Just Dance. I love the Wii. I love Just Dance. So it's definitely something I want to do again because it's been a million years since I really got consistent with it. And it definitely would be good to do. Like I did do a Just Dance session. I played Just Dance 2 for a bit. Man, I was like, man, this really does work you out. It gets tiring, but it was very fun to do. And then there's also this YouTube account that's basically like this girl is dancing, so you just have to follow along with her, called MadFit. And I found her from Instagram, then went to your YouTube channel, and it's fun because she has some Taylor Swift songs she dances to, some of the more current music like Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Chappell Roan, stuff like that. So that's really cool. Not that I have the ability, but if I find some, I want to lift weights. I want to get strong. I'd like to be like the girl from the our history, from like what was it, the 40s? I can't remember, but like that one, we can do it. Like I want to be strong. Let's do it. Kind of what I've said, eating healthy. I definitely want to eat healthy. Cutting out the bad foods. So, hopefully I can make that less of a thing. And kind of what I already said before, some things I really want to do, writing and drawing. I need to make it happen. Once again, reading books for my physical TBR. I just got this soccer ball. It's like super cheap, $5 from Five Below. And then in general, also, my dad and I have this football that we want to definitely throw around. So, the soccer ball, football, I definitely want to make it happen. I just want to get back into good stuff. Like, I was never the sporty kid. And I figure, like, the number of times I'm like, oh, if only I was having that in the past. The number of times I think about the past instead of, hey, what about what you could do right now? I really need to make that more of like a standard habit of just doing stuff. And definitely exercising would be good, so I'll like kick the soccer ball around solo in the backyard. I'm hoping at some point, we'll be able to toss a football around, me and my dad. So that would be some cool stuff. And then kind of similar to the concerts, go to live events, I just want to do some fun things, so that's about what my goals are. But yeah, I don't know, like there's definitely plenty of things I want to do, and I hope I'll be able to do. I wouldn't say, because there are things I've done this year that I've definitely appreciated. Like even when compared to the same amount of videos at this exact time from 2024 to 2025, I've done like 4 videos. Like, and at this same point, it would have been like 1. Like I posted this one in like the middle of February last year. So I definitely think I can make it happen of like staying consistent, whatever. And there are some habits that I've stuck to, but others it's like, oh no, they're falling by the wayside. I gotta bring it back,
A good list. I'm trying to think of an adjective, and it just But yeah, you have a really good list of like a variety of different goals. I hope you meet most, if not all of them,
Yeah.
this upcoming year.
Yeah, thank you. Um, if you'd like to leave off anything in terms of, you know, anything that you thought of that might be good for anyone, who wants to do YouTube, whether it's they've been here but they just don't have as much experience as we have, just in terms of the years, or any sort of, exciting thing that you'd like to share.
I guess like my parting advice would be like do it for you, like don't do it for the likes, don't do it for the potential money that's never gonna come. Like do it for you.
No.
And then as far as sharing stuff, I am Robin from the book Wormhole. You can subscribe to my channel, the book Wormhole, although I'm not super active. I have Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all as the book Wormhole, where I talk about the books that I've read and also my writing journey. As far as publications, I feel like I can announce this, although the publisher has not announced it, but I do have a novelette coming out this year through Graveside Press. It is a dystopian future, somewhat inspired by Handmaid's Tale, and deals a lot with like gender roles and bodily autonomy. Feels super timely right now. So check that out if you guys are watching and that sounds interesting. It should be coming out this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I would say similar to what Robin said, it definitely needs to come from, your motivation really should be from passion and what you care about. Like, if you really are only wanting to be on YouTube because you want to be successful and get money, you're going to be pretty disappointed. So, definitely do it from a good place, and definitely don't get discouraged if things don't work out, because things can really work out well eventually. Like, I would definitely say, not that it was a rough patch when I was in the early years of starting with a book channel, but definitely seeing the differences and trying to be more consistent, and also totally changing my audience with choosing a movie channel. It was definitely the right call. Like, sometimes, even if something doesn't work the first time, it could be something else that you want to try that maybe you're more skilled for that would be better. So, things like that, absolutely. And, for anyone watching, so I am the cinematic reviewer. I talk about movies and TV shows. Occasionally, I do skits. I do plenty of fun times. So, any requests, for collaborations, reviews, anything like that, do let me know. I do have my email in the comments, sorry, the description, but you get it. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I can go ahead and share that with you, Robin. I'll just go ahead and end the live, and I can share that little thing I was going to share with you. But thank you to anyone who's still staying here. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope either me or Robin or both, we'll see you guys next time.